for their patience in the first place, and for again giving me an opportunity to share space with Dattaji and address this August gathering on this fantastic occasion. On this occasion of the 350th anniversary of Chatrapati Shivaji's coronation, frankly, there are quite a few thoughts that are racing in my head. One, this month of January contains two specific dates which are of significance to Maratha history. First, of course, is the coronation, and second is what does Sankranti represent for Maratha history. Both are equally important. The coronation carries with it the significance of a person who had the confidence to re-establish both the Shastra as well as the Shastra at a time when he was outflanked and outnumbered by an ocean of green. And that shows what kind of a vibhuti he was, in the words of Sri Aurobindo, who said, but for him, everything would have been lost. Perhaps the two empires which need to be discussed in significant detail when we speak of Bharat's history. The first is the Vijayanagar Empire, and the second is the Maratha Empire. The Vijayanagar Empire, for the longevity with which, or the longevity to which it actually sustained Hindu pride and Hindu values until the Battle of Tallikota in 1565. And the causes for that defeat, and the longevity of the Maratha Empire, if 1674 is when you see as the period of coronation, until 1818, which is the third Anglo-Maratha war, when finally Delhi passed on to British hands. Between 1674 and 1818, we constantly look at only 1761, as if that was almost the death knell of the Maratha Empire. Why am I actually showcasing these dates? Bharat's historiography has done grave injustice to the period preceding 1761 and the period subsequent to 1761 as well. There have been instances wherein Bharat's historiography, so-called Bharatiya historians, have referred to Chatrapati Shivaji Maharaj in the most derogatory of terms, without recognizing the contribution that he made. The foundation that he laid for Haindavi Swaraj is constantly berated and belittled. Post 1761, what most people don't realize is that by 1771, Maharaj Scindia had effectively re-established Maratha flag to the extent that Shah Alam II, who was effectively seen as the emperor until Palam, that was the extent of Mughal dynasty, was reduced to a puppet under Maharaj Scindia. The British did not win Bharat from the Mughals. They had to snatch Bharat from the Marathas. And that is rarely ever taught in Indian history, in Bharatiya history, in our schools and colleges. British maps of that period significantly show a spread of saffron across the board. Of course, there were a lot of Nawabs and principalities in Bengal and other places. But it is often said that if Marathas had continued, the better part of the country would have had Marathi at least as the second language. Even Bengalis would be speaking Marathi. Why is this important? As much as we have lessons to draw from the coronation of of Chatrapati Shivaji, when he was outnumbered by an ocean of green, as I said before, we must constantly avoid our own Panipat moments as much as possible. Because what we think we have achieved over the last 10 or 15 years, it wouldn't take less than 2 or 3 years to undo everything. And I think the celebration of Maharaj Shivaji's life and the lessons of his descendants, so to speak, is extremely relevant for the juncture that we are particularly in this year. I would just want to add one point drawing from Vaibhavji's opening before I proceed to close this submission, so to speak. One, भारत के इतिहास के बारे में और उसके गौरवशाली इतिहास के बारे में हम जब भी बात करते हैं, there is a dichotomy in the way we look at it. On one hand, we constantly say that this country has had a glorious history, so on and so forth, and in the same breath, two things happen. Our national heroes and civilizational icons are appropriated by regional identities. They're limited to regional identities. That their Bharatiya icons needs to come out clearly. And second, you can't say on the one hand that Bharatiya history has been completely whitewashed and misrepresented by the left on the one hand, and continue to peddle certain leftist distortions when it comes to certain other issues such as jati and caste. This is crucial because all civilizational victories will be reduced to a knot if we continue to perpetuate certain myths about the Hindu society and its social order and social organization. So while it is important to constantly refer to a glorious past, we must do justice to the glorious past in equal breadth by discussing all aspects of that past in public domain so that the truth comes out. The unfortunate reality of Bharatiya historiography has been the convenient representation of certain aspects of Bharatiya history to suit certain, let's say, end goals, and the convenient misrepresentation to suit certain other social engineering goals. That, according to me, would be a second round of injustice to Bharatiya historiography. According to me, what Chatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's coronation represents is the re-establishment of a Hindu Rashtra in more ways than one. It is not just a political milestone, it is a civilizational milestone, and dare I say, it is equally a Shastric milestone. So the misrepresentations of Bharat's history is not limited to our political victories and defeats, our military, let's say, victories and defeats. It is equally about our social organization. And dare I say, the next 10 or 15 years of Bharat's landscape, political and social landscape, is going to be animated by these conversations. Let's hope that they are civil conversations and they're not acrimonious. And let's hope those conversations are based on facts and not on myths and propaganda. So I genuinely hope that as we open or reopen this new age of resurgence and revival of Bharat and the age-old spirit of Bharat, we do justice to its history, its Atma. Because if this happens again once more in the age of social media with so much of information available in public domain, then we really are no more in position to constantly blame the left for distortion of history. This is perhaps one time window that we have been served on a platter after centuries of oppression, after decades of being pixelated with absolutely no portals for ventilation of our point of view. We finally have it. History is not a discussion of the past. It is a discussion of the causes for the present. And it is extremely crucial that we take up this issue as seriously as possible. I genuinely hope that the next celebration of that Vibhuti's coronation is in a much more confident atmosphere about our future with respect to a societal organization where landmark milestones and achievements are not marred by unnecessary controversies and fissures which should have been addressed by now. Perhaps this is, I would call it a wake up call, because going by what's happening, I don't think we need outsiders to divide us. There are enough divisions within. And the sooner we address those divisions, the better it is for us, because the outsider is waiting for us to implode. And second, while independent Bharat, sovereign independent Bharat, is certainly much more powerful than it was in 1947 and certainly than it was in 2014, there's no doubting it. We are surrounded by an ocean of detractors in the rest of the world waiting for Bharat to watch us fail and flounder. And it's important for us to realize that this battle of ideas and this battle of narratives is not going to be won unless and until there is clarity within the self about who we are and where we come from.